Hello, my name is Sav, and I'm going to be giving my first impression of Ruiners, a roguelite by LGK Games. Before we hop on into the game tutorials, let us take a look at the options menu. Gameplay-wise, almost everything you need, it's right here. Audio, the mute is on and off, and the music volume levels, they seem to be broken. There's no drop-down menu or anything. Either it's really complicated or it doesn't work. I'm going to go with it doesn't work. The video menu, very subpar, full screen on and off. They support, I think, about 5 to 6 resolutions, and that's not very good, and they have a low performance mode. Even though this game is a 2D overhead pixely shooter, it still needs more options than this. Not options, that's not a word. Controls do, however, have fully rebindable keys, which is very nice. Let's take a look at the tutorial before we go into the actual game. There's about 6 tutorial missions, each of which took me about 30 seconds to complete. That totals in about 3 minutes. Very easy, very effective, and the game is incredibly simple, so it didn't need that many tutorials. And that's the best way to describe this game. Simple. And it's a score attack with a slightly broken scoreboard, because as you can see, Quadratic Wizard does have a lower score than Niger, other than I'm reading it funny. There's 5 difficulties, even though it hides the name, you can still see it there. This is intimidating, right here. Nightmare and Apocalypse. Let's go on to regular. So, you pick one passive, one class, and one starting spell. This creates for a hell of a lot of replayability. The issue is the gameplay any good? So let's go with what I did for my first run. Blessing of the Orc, Demonic Warlock, and Magic Missile. There is an incredible mass synergy between the passives and the classes, which is kind of annoying. Like, let's take a look at the Corpse Creeper. Has the ability to find dead bodies in the most unlikely of places. He makes them not dead for a bit. Summons 2 zombies that distract enemies and explode in a poison cloud on death. So, you get to summon 2 weak guys, basically. That doesn't necessarily synergize with anything that I could find here. There might be some really neat gimmicky synergies, like I'm pretty sure that one of these for a temporary time makes your attacks more powerful, and then Blessing of the Chimera gives a 7% chance to make your attack go off twice, so if you get that bonus buff, then you basically have quadruple damage. Except that 7% chance, and then the critical chance, incredibly unlikely, but it would be huge if that went off on, say, a boss. So, let's get on into the game. As you can see here, there's a quick little story bit, and the story doesn't seem too good. I got to about floor 3, and it basically spoke purely abstractly. It didn't give anything solid, and it only gave you short snippets like that, so the story is just a little sideshow at best. A cool little bit is that these doors will emit a different glow depending on the type of room it is. Basic rooms might have that. Green, I'm pretty sure, means an event room. Yes, it does. This is a living statues. These statues seem to be thriving with energy, only hit them when they are awake. So, these are statues, I activate this, and I have to fight them. These are particularly difficult enemies, but let's have a go at them. Up, only 1 or 2 are up. Oh, if I hit one, does it come up? Oh, they bounce off of me, ouch. I need to be careful here. Let's focus down the giant rat. Let's get the little rat now. So, as you can see, the combat mostly just consists of running around and, basically avoiding the enemy shots, and just holding down the left mouse button and aiming. This is very, very simple combat, and I personally very much dislike this. It has no depth to it, and it's what you're spending the entire game doing, so most roguelites seem to have this problem. Their combat always has just no depth to it, which is a huge problem. Except their progression systems tend to be pretty good, but a little bit abstract, because it's like, oh, I have plus 2% hit chance now. Well, that was boring. Plus 2% crit chance. I'm more powerful now. RPGs felt really nice, because you usually start in the beginning of the game, you're an average run-of-the-mill soldier, and at the end you would be a god amongst men, and that would be absolutely epic to play as. Roguelites have always failed in that. I feel as though what roguelites should strive for is to basically be an RPG in 20 minutes. You start as your run-of-the-mill guy, and then you blast through enemies, you blast through rooms, you get just a little bit of fluff, you get stronger, now you're a god amongst men fighting against other gods. That would be epic, and I feel as though that's what roguelites need to do. And they just don't seem to be doing that. You always feel like, by the end, this character that's just slightly stronger than you were earlier. And the enemies are getting scaled higher, and you aren't necessarily doing the same. These also involve a lot of luck, so I feel as though my skill is being punished here. So here's the truly unique bit of this game, which I truly believe is not enough to have it hold up. And it's that they have a rune system, in which you take these runes, you put them into the combiner. If I had more runes, I could put more items into the combiner, and I'd require a double combiner item in order to combine 2, or triple for 3. I press combine, and now I have another ability. This is an interesting system, and they have, what was it, 280 something possibilities? Let's take a look here at the rune decks. Yep, 285. They have all for the singles, all for the doubles, and all for the triples. The elements, well, runes being water, fire, air, earth, shock, mind, speed, dark, light, and entropy. This system is quite unfortunately not enough to have this game hold up. And now that I have a second ability, now I can hold both the left and right mouse button down. Once you have 4, you also need to hold down 1 or 2 for those to cast, but then you can't move. So it creates this cute little resource management thing in which your health now becomes a resource between, you know, are you going to expend health taking hits to get more DPS out, and this being a roguelite, so the answer should almost always be no, you should never sacrifice your health for almost anything, except for, you know, maybe a gimmicky build in which, because there is not even this game in which you can't sacrifice health for damage, so if you're going to go for a build based around that, that would be cute, but holding down 1 or 2, it's a pain. I don't know why those are the controls for it. If you have a mouse with macros on the side, like I used to, I don't anymore, then I guess it works out, but now basically you're more powerful because you have equipment that you paid real-life money for, so that creates almost this pay-to-win aspect of the game, which I really dislike. I should probably be going to more rooms now, but I'm going to go downstairs, and I'm going to see what I can grab. I'm going to grab a water rune and just show you what happens when you need to hold down 1 when your control method is WASDA. There was a little bit more fluff over there. Pause the video if you want to read it. So now let's pop a water thing in. I would probably save up for 2. Oh wait, I do have 2. So yeah, I have a double rune, so once I get the next rune, I'll show you what happens when you combine 2. So now I got to hold both down now. Hatchet zombies, those look painful. And there is a good amount of enemy variety in this game, but there's only so much that they seem to have done with it. Like, there's tons of enemies, and they all seem to do the variant of the same thing, and they all have the same strategy against them. Strafe, strafe, strafe. The skeletons are slightly interesting, because as you can see, there's those little piles of bones on the ground now. I need to go up and collect those, otherwise those piles of bones will collect back together, and they'll revive. So then you have this little mechanic of, should you focus on the skeletons and go in for a little bit of damage to get rid of them earlier, or should you just kind of let them respawn, kill all the rest of the enemies, and do it. As you can see up there, I can't point at it because it moves. There's a smaller cursor. That is not a real one. You see that floating grain over there? He created that to confuse me. Now it's gone, the cursor is gone. As you can see, there's a good amount of variety, and they all have a cute little gimmick to them. But that's all they are, cute little gimmicks. And it's quite a shame, really, because this could have been a great roguelite. All of them can, except all of them seem to just botch their chance. So let me show you the challenge mode before I go, because this is interesting for if you're a true completionist. Challenges. Let's go on, say, Rat Blaster 1. The challenge: in under 10 seconds, kill all these rats with the assigned spell. This spell has a slight delay on cast, but it should kill them in 1 hit, so a good strategy. Let them bunch all on top of you, and start popping it. These tend to involve a lot of luck, because you need to hope that they bunch on you early, because sometimes they wander off a little bit. Lots of these involve just lots of luck, so they're time attack, but they don't act in a predictable manner, so this becomes almost pure luck as to whether or not you're successful. So if you want to score attack, just play it a bunch of times as opposed to actually get good at it. Like, you know, I think it was my 3rd try. I got all of them in about, with the 2 seconds left, and now I can barely do it at all. Some of these challenges actually don't even have proper complete triggers. One of them didn't change at all. For one of them, when it was at 1 second left, to create this incredibly annoying sound. I think it was supposed to make some kind of like desperation sound, but the sound file botched. I don't know what happened. But this game seems a little bit buggy right now. The sound isn't working, some of the sounds are botching. And even if it worked, I'd have a lot of difficulty recommending this to you. If you truly like the idea of creating your own spells out of these runes, that's cool, pick up this game, it's not that expensive, it's 10 bucks. But for anyone else, even if you're a fan of roguelites, you might not like this game. And it's quite a shame. I would have loved to play this game more often. It had so much replayability, just not good gameplay. I have been Sav. Thank you for watching. You can pick it up on Steam for about 10 bucks, and I will see you next time.